Hello and good evening and a happy new year. As you can see, I have already got something set up with Rider and I have opened the old project that we worked on last time. I looked through the project and it does seem to give me like some hints as to like matching specific naming conventions and stuff like that. Anyway, I am here with Rider. I haven't tried it out very much yet. I didn't do much of a configuration other than opening the file and seeing what was going on. Today we're going to do another shader because I was curious about how to add light to HLSL. But we are going to try something new. And as usually, we are going to use ChatGPT to help us decode what we need to create, because this is the purpose of doing all this, to actually learn how to use AI for learning purposes and not to just I don't know, vibe coding our way to whatever. Let's try to understand what we need. Let's see how it's evolved since last time we viewed it, because yeah, it's been like 2 weeks. Maybe they made some updates. Hello GPT, nice to see you and a happy new year. Hope you are doing great. I am trying to build a shader in Unity using, oh god, this is bad, using HLSL. I want to make a plaid shader. How would I do that? Teach me, GPT, teach me, as I have never done a shader before, and let me learn, do this stuff. Yeah, I did do very little, but not that much in terms of shading, editing, and creation. Like, I'm capable of doing something basic, but I wouldn't consider myself an expert, and this is for me as much as a learning journey as it might be for some of the people that are watching. Yeah, it's doing great. Plaid shader, crossing to stripe pattern and calling it fashion. Because when we say plaid, yeah, it's just like, okay, I have different lines going horizontally and vertically, but you can see that the intersection of those lines actually has a new pattern. Uh, yeah, and maybe I would like to do something textured like this to make it look like textile, like a material, but I'm not sure how far we can get with actually making it as realistic as possible. Maybe if we added a texture or something that was created outside. Plate pattern. I'm just clicking on random stuff right now because I asked it to build something that I'm not sure what I wanted to build, but let's see how it's doing. Okay, so horizontal and vertical stripes multiplied, because yeah, you're getting multiplication when you reach an intersection, because you're getting the colors from both sides of the stripes. Okay, so we have the UV coordinates, repeat them with tiling, scene, frac, and step to make stripes, color intersections, and the minimal functional shader, which uses frac to create the pattern, step Create hard stripe edges, multiplying them to get the intersection darker. And then we can go crazy with all kinds of special effects. Let's go to the code, copy, paste. And we're having a bunch of colors that I'm guessing is going to use to go horizontal and vertical. As we were seeing last time, creating arrays is kind of tricky with HLSL. So having something that's completely dynamic like this, like having multiple lines, not knowing how many lines there might be, yeah, that's not the easiest thing to do, apparently. There was something that I started looking into, but I didn't follow through. So we were building the European lead shader. What is a shader variant collection? Okay, no, I don't need this. No. Just that icon looks weird, and I thought it would just create a variant from another shader. On lead shader, as we established last time. Alright, and my laptop just goes crazy even with these minor animations. So let's try to find where I put the time. Animated offset. Let's try a quick hack, and I will do this. And the time will be always 1. And this one will just stay commented because I might want it later. I'm trying to remember why did I reach the conclusion of using sine and cosine instead of doing frac or whatever else. Anyway, let's go back to the plaid shader, and this is the boilerplate code. I do believe when I installed Brighter, it told me something about some AI tools that I could be using, like some plugins that I have no idea where it is hiding them. Oh, this one, I think. You got 30 days for a free trial. Maybe not tonight. Frame viewer, what else? Hey, chat. Start free trial. Why is everything free trial? Why is everything a trial? Can I just get free stuff? Okay, give me my shader. And I might open the the trial version up to test it out. Not tonight. Tonight we're just doing some nice stuff. What was the custom? What was the thing that it generated? Like custom plaid. Okay. Yeah, and again we have 2 colors, scale, stripe width. I have no idea what those do, including the basic stuff, variable declarations. There's nothing to do with the vertex for now. It's just the fragment, the same as last time. We are just calculating the colors on what we already have as geometry without changing or modifying anything. So we are having steps, then the frac, multiplying them, so I'm guessing it's might multiply with white at one point. Let's see how this looks. And I think the animation stopped on these. Yeah, nice. Okay, let me just a new material, which is going to be a plaid material. And can I drag and drop this? Like, nice. And we have the base color. This is a disaster. This is not at all a plaid shader. Oh, GPT, why did you do to me this? Yeah, gray is a bad example. Let me. This is horrible, GPT. And we have. This is like, I don't know, grid shader maybe? Disappointed. You are a disappointment. That's no plaid of mine that I want to use. What was its reasoning for doing that? So multiplication to make intersection darker did not work. It's anything but Scottish. Your version just looks cooked. Softer woven look, animated fabric drift, tartan style, multi-band plaid. This is such a complex territory. Can it also give me these imperfections here at the end? Can you do that, GPT? Yeah, shader graph. No, I'm not doing shader graph. We're doing HLSLs. Okay. Give me something better. Yeah, my expectations were high of you. Multiplying binary stripes give you check exports. Okay. Real plaid is not two stripes intersecting. You did not even give me two stripes intersecting. Why can I talk to you in real time? I mean, if you could just have a conversation, maybe you'd understand better, because I'm talking to myself right now. Different ways, different bands stacked. Yeah, it's basically trying to smooth steps. Okay, so let's take this function, let's add it. I keep forgetting the no. What's going on? Yeah, I set rider to take the same shortcut keys as Visual Studio, but I'm still like two left hands doing that. This is going to fail. If I spend like 5 minutes and it fails, then I lose patience and I just try another strategy, because this is not going to work and I need to figure out the math behind it. And do auto format code if you're using this. I didn't set it up and it's not the time right now. So what are you doing here? You're using a saturate function for which I have no documentation. Open documentation tool window. Oh great, I need to attach the documentation maybe another day. Refreshing solution. Maybe I should hit yes on that thing that's keeps bugging me with. That was an older code generated by GPT. Okay, so is it just me or did it do nothing? Okay, this is not working out. One color is drawing a grid, the other color is filling squares. Let's start easy. Give me a shader that draws a line. Yeah, this is just this step by step because it didn't work. And it's supposed to do my job for me. Funny. Yeah, I can draw a line. I do want to draw a line. Did it actually understand that it did do a mistake? Use UVY. So it doesn't even tell me anything about the mistake that it did. And it wants to give me a smooth edge. Okay. But first, I want to see how it sets things up with line color, background color. Of course, it's changed like all the variables and everything, and this is still because I don't care about whatever was there before. There was nothing that I worked on that I custom made, so no frag, so nothing repeats. What was frag for? What was frag for? Part of the math library takes a number and gives you the decimal part. Oh, okay. So it's used to repeat patterns because the decimal part always repeats itself. Okay, so get the x of the UV. Stripes, gates, checkerboards, noise patterns, etc., etc. Okay. So every tile becomes identical, intersection turns into squares. So when you combine the two, so it was actually using one color for background and the other color. I already saved this. Okay, oh my god, this isn't working. Why are you not working? Because did I not? Okay, now it's giving me wrong codes. This is exhausting. So yeah, earlier basically it was doing like frac for horizontal lines and vertical lines, but it wasn't combining them correctly. Okay, going back to the line. Let's see. We have line seems to be a keyword, maybe. Line. And the distance, okay. I can deal with that. And okay, we have a line. Always clear the console because those might not be current errors. I already learned that. Okay, so now we have a line which was created. This is the entire fragment shader, and we have the distance and line Y position, okay, and the line width. And look at this, it's creating something that I was wondering for the other shader. And if I want, yeah, it's creating that nice smooth gradient effect because of the smooth step, which I'm guessing it's interpolating whatever there is. And if we have the solution that was before, we are getting a straight line. How exciting. Which can be color modified. Now, the next step, okay. Now for the next step, let's make multiple parallel lines. Yeah, people sprinkle frac everywhere. I actually had the feeling that we might not be doing this like it would have been done in C#. So parallel lines is just one axis with a repeating distance and the width for each repetition. And again we have line color, background color, line count, line width, and the fragment shader looks like this, because inside the fragment shader we are not actually doing a loop to draw multiple lines, like drawing line after line, but what we do need to do is figure out what is the color of the pixel at the current position that the fragment is calculating, if that makes sense. So this is a whole other way of thinking which I am still to wrap my head around. And we are getting the option for vertical lines, horizontal lines, and softer lines with smooth step. And let's just keep going with smooth step, because I'm curious, at one point we are actually going to have to combine this. So let's just see what happens. Okay, line count, line width. I also need to place the variables, not here, here. And what else? We have an entire new function. I need to, let's do this line smooth step, and now we can delete. And auto format. It's returning the lerp between the two colors. Okay. Okay, we actually are getting somewhere. But yeah, this is because the way that it's building and it's calculating stuff, it doesn't really let us configure the line width per se, but the line width in relative to the geometry, to the entire object. Let's say that this is what I want. Let's say you're doing fine, and now I need another set of lines. Wait, I want to do something else. Because it's going to count for progression. Frag. I mean, it doesn't even need a new name, it just needs draw one line. And after it draws one line, draw multiple parallel lines. So, like, just to make a comparison of what actually changed, because here we have the distance, the M line, and returning the lerp. But what was extra when we render multiple lines was the y coordinates, which was multiplied by line count to actually tile it multiple times. I'm not sure that's what I wanted. Okay, let's say that this actually works and set the lines that are perpendicular. Bad instruction for ChatGPT. Yeah, this is where graph paper comes into place. Multiplication just makes filled squares, which they were filled to begin with. Like, can I... Do you have alpha? Do you support any kind of alpha? No. Of course you don't. So it doesn't take transparency into account when calculating colors. Let's say that I'm okay with that. Compute horizontal lines, compute vertical lines, and then combine them. Multiply the intersection. And we are having the same properties, nothing changed there. And here we can simply do this to get a new method in. So it's getting the UV, it's having a horizontal computation, it's having a vertical computation, and it's drawing the lines. Absolutely no way that I don't need it, but at least now we are understanding that it's our fault and not ChatGPT's, basically. And at this point you'd actually have to describe probably all the details. Let's change the step with smooth step, and we don't have distance, we have vdist and agedist and age line. This should be fine. This is anything but plaid. So wait, it said that it had max and it's clean crossing lines, multiply. How do I multiply? Do you have like a mult? So if you, at any point if you think that, what if I multiply this? You're about to make them squares again, but they are squares right now. You have one color going over the same color. What if I don't have the same color? Let's just yeah, the color is the result. You have one color going over the same color, and the result can only be that color. Correct? Maybe we try to introduce a third color for the vertical lines. I finally a correct accusation. I should be just like accusing you, but because you're painting the same color twice. Yeah. I mean, half the problem is to actually figure out why it's doing the things wrong, because it's not going to realize that for you most of the times. White over white equals white. So now we have moved to 3 colors. Let's copy the new color definitions. And the variables. And then we are just having a new fragment. Okay, let's see what it does this time. It calculates a horizontal line, doing another step. I wanted a smooth step. It assumes that the color is a background color. It draws the horizontal line. Draws the vertical line on top. So this is the background color. Works if H line is probably at 0. God, I'm having a headache. And no, it does not work. Okay, so yeah, it's basically drawing one color on top of the other. Let's see if I'm getting this right. So it gives you the 2 bands, intersection belonging to the vertical lines because they're drawn second, and layering. If you want intersection to be their own color, then it's done explicitly. And branch or lerp based on that. How do I branch or lerp based on that? And what else does it say? Yeah, not to treat them symmetrically, etc, etc, etc. So I have H line, V line, which can be 0 or 1 depending on what it needs. So the intersection is a mask. Okay, understood. And we need to use it. And just creating branches. But the intersection color, what is the intersection color? Okay, option 2, drop stacking. Branchless, okay, that seems better. Okay, so let's take it step by step and add the intersection calculation. And on top of that, we then have all these colors that are lerping. I do not have an intersection color. How do I get an intersection color? And it returns the color. So all of these are either 0 or 1. If they're both 1, then the intersection is 1. If one of them is 0, then the intersection is 0. Sounds legitimate. Or we can do a weighted blend if we want the woven. Which, what is this supposed to mean? Yeah, I do want the woven stuff, but let's figure out first calculate the intersection color. Come on, I copied this. I'm not even going to tell it more. Yes, exactly. So multiply is a darken woven look. Simple average is the most obvious. Weighted dominance, over under illusion. I am thinking that this can be tested and used just to see how what effect we're getting from each. Okay, and we are actually on the right track for once, because we are getting some kind of alpha doesn't work. We are getting some kind of, and it has this weird effect, like it's also blending with the background, but I think I can assure you that it's not. It's just like an optic illusion. Let's put this to blue, and this one we're also going to go with blue. Hey. and we are getting a plate. Why did it limit the line width to 0.1 and where did it do that? Let's make sure the line width can be what is the maximum? It's like 0.5. Why is it 0.5? Because that's like half the line. What are you calculating, GPT? Anyway, we're getting there, having a more played look, but it did give us some other options. So the first one was an average, the second one is a multiplication. This color are stored as from 0 to 1. There's a lot of questions I want to ask, but I'm not sure what's going on. Is there like a very big difference to this? Okay, let's see the third one. I could just like make maybe a switch or something to the side. This also looks decently good, and yeah, I can't really say which method I might like or I might want to use, because I'm not seeing something significant. Maybe I'm just tired. But then again, there was one last thing, right, the smooth step. The smooth step, which was this one. Okay, and we are getting vdist, hdist. Should I have created a backup? Yes. Let's do things somewhat right, because this is a learning process that you might want to get back to and take another look. So if that is the case, it might be helpful to have the comparisons very closely. But what I do want is to get this and this is just like experimental to see what happens, to see what's going on in this case, because this is a way that you can better understand what you're building. This is worse for having plaid. It's good if you want some sort of optical illusion. So yeah, let's just revert back to what we had. This is clearly having a very huge difference from one to the other, as opposed to the variance that there were some differences in color, but I'm not sure at the first glance which when I would use any of those. We don't calculate intersection color once as a property. You calculate it per fragment from the colors involved. Yes, I completely agree with you. And how to plug it in? There was one thing that it told me, weighted blend. Right. The previous thing that I was testing, which was calculating the intersection color, and calculating this, let me just, this is not going to end up well, and I do want to copy just so I'm able to play around. There's no saving on repos and stuff here, so I could do something locally, but I do want to have everything at a glance, so that's not something I want to occupy my mind with. We have a calculation of the color, which is no longer lerped, and I need this separately. Okay, let's do this. Okay, the color doesn't need to be here anymore, or declared here, or here, or here. And I have the calculation of the intersection color and the intersection, and then it's going to do something like, oh my god, what did you do to my eyes? I have no idea what's going on. When did I activate post-processing? Where is the post-processing? This is not... How are you making everything so bright? No, and the other thing... Is it the rendering? Okay, this is crazy. And I'm looking for volume or something, but I do not remember adding anything like that. But this is totally not what I expected. How did it even reach the conclusion to... Oh my god. It's so bright. It's like... The intersection is an accumulation of many things. I can clearly see that is a problem. Where there's some of them, okay, it's probably rendering a lot of... I don't know at this point. My eyes, there's a lot of shiny dots at the intersection. I don't even have post processing or bloom, but they shine bright. How are you doing this? It's very important to use a lot of exclamation question marks. And I just want to understand this, and I might be done for tonight. Okay, we have the background. It's not the background. What is it doing? This is completely screwed up somehow, but okay, so the first one, the horizontal line. The second one is the vertical line, and everything is just changing the background, and this is just changing. Nothing makes sense. If you want an LED grid based in 3 colors that are unconfigurable, then this is the shader for you. You accidentally built a tiny HDR factory. You build the factory. Shiny doors are bloom, not post. Over bright pixel caused by bad math. So wait, what was the bad math that caused this? It has the H line color times HW plus. So it has the horizontal color and the vertical color, and then it has the intersection color and tries to saturate it. What went wrong? At the intersection, all of them are 1, and the total is 2.4. Okay, so just HDR that has gone off the rails. True, it only happens for the intersection. So the solution is to handle first, and I'm going to like save this. And or just use clamp, or wait everything to be less than 1. Okay, so with this solution, oh my god, no, this is, I mean, it works. It works for some point, but it just modifies everything, and it feels so unpredictable because it's combining the stuff over other stuff. This is just intersection color. Yeah, this is not working like at all. It's not working in a way that it could be usable for the project. Let's see, the other solution it was talking about to just make sure that everything... Oh my god, it's bright again. What about this? There's no winning here. But hey, the previous function kind of worked. So we can say that this is like bright LED spots in the center. Not the lights I wanted to build. And this is actually the plaid pattern. And I mean, let's just like see and do a comparison. Don't tell me this is broken now too. Okay, this is just the background, right? No, this is the horizon. This is the background. Wasn't this working earlier? How did it break? I remember it working. So we have the back. Okay, wait. Did I? Oh, okay. I see what I did. Those weren't. Oh, wait. I did something bad. Those weren't the intersection, those were the entire background. Now it makes sense. Okay, so the entire background... God. Okay, so just make the background black. And we make... This is why it didn't make any sense whatsoever, because the line width was so changed that it looked like the background was the actual intersection. But yeah, okay, now I understand why it's working, and it's working decently. Is it working differently than the other part? This is the part where we build like multiple shaders, where it just takes screenshots of each, because this kind of looks the same, and the only side effect is that the background is shiny LED stuff. But yeah, we have created a plaid pattern. How nice. And let's just, for the sake of it, let's just create this one. This should be custom geometry maybe for all of this, but no problem, we can work with this too. And maybe different with height, because one of the problems that we are having here is that we used custom where are you custom scales just to build some geometry that looks like something. uh, you would want a custom model that has all the scales normalized to 0, and this is why it's a good thing to keep everything normalized. That wait, it's scale, no, it's supposed to be 1 not 0, but yeah. And let's just customize this a bit. What are you? Oh, okay, it was completely gray, of course it's not changing. And we want to make this in something that makes no sense. This is where I should just quit abruptly. Yeah. And we have plaid patterns. Create a new material for each pattern that you need and assign it to another mesh. And that's it. That's it for tonight. I never know how to start or stop these things, so maybe just go and click and stream, and that's it.